Blazing 420 Radio.
All right, we are live. I know you liked it, Tasha, when I did the edit for "Make Some Noise" and we used to clapping. Yeah.
I definitely love that. I love all the little ad libs,
Yeah.
razzle dazzle. We need the razzle dazzle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He probably Kool Kim, he was in the studio with the other podcast, so I'm pretty sure that when he did that recording, he said he was moving to a bigger studio. He was building it at that process. That was 2023. So we in 2025 now, so he probably should be in the new studio. It's probably putting his stuff on and getting ready.
Uh-oh. There goes our guest.
You're the co-host.
They don't. He doesn't like when the neighbor is mowing his lawn.
Nobody does.
So he stands at the window and tries to bark him
Two things for men, right? When we sleeping, we don't like to be interrupted when we're sleeping, especially by lawn mowing. And number two, when we hit a lawnmower, guess what that means for us?
We gotta end up cutting grass.
You need to cut grass too.
Golly. Why they gotta cut right now? Right now they gotta cut grass. Okay, now I gotta get up and go cut my grass.
Man, I need somebody to cut my grass. Who want to come and cut my grass? Please.
Tasha, I'll do it. You got a lawnmower? I'll do it.
I ain't got no lawnmower. I don't know how to do that.
Damn.
Get one at the Home Depot.
Yo, you know, hold up, yo. You cut the camera off, yo. Hold up, yo.
Come back, Austin.
So if I wasn't here by myself, I would go to Home Depot and just get one of the guys. But I'd be scared to invite people, like go to get some random stranger and tell them to come to my house and cut my damn grass. They might get the wrong idea.
No doubt. But guess what, guys? We got somebody backstage that's really ready to happen, and gonna bring them on in right now. Make some noise. We got Kool Kim. Woo, yeah.
What up, everybody? What's good, y'all?
Salute.
What's going on? Yo, pardon my tardiness. You know the vibes, though. I'm here.
Thank you for coming.
All good, man.
Thank you for coming. That's what's important.
Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so for everyone who doesn't know, this is Kool Kim. He has been in the industry forever. 1990s, early 90s. If you don't know UMCs, Blue Cheese, One to Grow On. Listen, I used to watch that damn Blue Cheese video over and over again. I loved that video when I was coming up. So
I'm
y'all
glad
give
you liked
a nice welcome to Kool Kim.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Yeah, it's your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim. Yeah.
There you go.
So let's get started. First of all, you've been rapping since you was 12 years old, right? Is that sounds about right? Since you were around 12, you started. What made you get interested in rapping at that age?
I don't know that it was 12 because I think I was b-boying at 12. I think I was rhyming really yeah, I was dancing, you know what I mean? I used to choreograph and stuff like that for folks back in the day. But then like I said, I got into rapping like really, like for fun around 13, 14, 12, 12, around that time. But like really wanting to do it was when I was freshman in high school. I went to art and design, and I shared the same homeroom with Kwame, you know what I mean, from back in the day, you know what I'm saying? So, we used to be rhyming in the cypher in the homeroom together, and he had this dope rhyme, and it was just crazy to me, you heard? And I was like, yo, I'm coming back the next day with fire for you. And I came back the next day with that fire for the ass, you heard? And that was the beginning, man. Like I was like, I had to do it. I loved it after that.
So, I mean, the 90s was, I think everyone can agree. So many people agree that the 90s was the best era for hip hop. And there were so many like special moments and great MCs. Like, what were some of your favorite moments and artists from the 90s?
I think that, all right, so everybody waxes poetic about their era. You know what I mean? How fly it was, and it was the ish of the whole ish. You heard? And you know, and when we thinking about our childhood for ourselves, every one of those days are this very magical golden time that, you know, you're going to always hold in high esteem over what you see kids doing now. Now, with that being said as well, we got to look at the fact that the reason why I'm even getting to this diatribe about it is because I think it's important, especially when we talk about, like, you know, which is the best era and all that kind of rhetoric, because what happens is that it disrespects the wave of what's going on now in a way that is off-putting versus, you know, create any real desire to experience what we trying to tell them about what's so dope about hip-hop at that time. You know, we was growing up in times where we ain't had cell phones where the news came to you lightning fast. You know what I'm saying? So we grew up in a time where entertainers could really become superstars and mega stars. Like, there'll never be another mega star again. Like, you realize that, like, where somebody can, like, literally make people get up out their house, take a bus or the train or walk or get in their mother's car or their dad's car and drive down to the record store and smooth buy somebody record, and it be so many people that they got to call that joint diamond. Like, that's how many people bought, not just platinum, not just 1 million people, a diamond. 10 million people done cop this joint, or however many it is that they got to recognize you. So all of that to say that, you know, it's hard to even capture that aesthetic of the 90s for young people, because you're asking them to transport to a world that they are so unfamiliar to them. And in a lot of ways, it seemed prehistoric, you know what I'm saying? But unbeknownst to them, it's like it was very special, because we sat in the middle of a time that all of those things happening at once ain't going to happen again, where we going from analog to digital. Like, yo, you remember we grew up watching Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember what Captain Kirk used to pull out his communicator? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that looked like a little flip phone?
Yeah.
He had a little Nokia flip phone, yo. That's what they had for us growing up, thinking about what the future is. Hey, yo, we actually right now, I'm smooth doing an interview with y'all right now on a cell phone that if Captain Kirk came down, I stun on him with my phone. Like, what? You ain't got no camera on your joint, baby? You ain't got no GPS. You don't got what?
Funny.
All you can do is, you can get teleported. That's all he can do with his that we can't do. You know what I mean? But so when you think about it like that, like for them, that's nothing. Like that's like that, to dream of that is nothing. We used to dream of being able to like have like a hovercraft, like not even a hovercraft, but they got those too now, right? But like, you know, like a backpack, like a jetpack. Yeah, that's what we used to call like a jetpack. That was like, yo, I don't know. If you was young and black, if you ain't dream of being in a jetpack at least once, going where, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But like, I wanted a jetpack so bad. And yo, cats would really go on vacation right now and will jump on the little water jetpack. Or cats really flying around with jetpacks right now for real, really in real, for real life, really flying around in jetpacks. Yo, we never could have imagined. So it's like what we was doing in them times, man, we was still dreaming. You heard?
Right.
And for this generation, a lot of the means, the facility to dream is like going for them. And so it don't look like it's fun to me, but I'm sure years from now they'll talk about the special things that make sense in the context of who they are, that make what they did special. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if I answered the question or not, but
well, no. We get what you're saying. While we're on that subject, what do you think? How does that coincide with today's era of music? Like, how do you feel about that now?
I feel like, you know, I sit on two poles with it. You know what I mean? There's the side of me that is happy for these young people to be able to make money in this industry, that they're way more savvy about their process than we were by light years. I respect that. Hold on a second. Hey Google, turn on the bedroom lights. That wasn't much, but anyway, it's more like I love what they doing in them ways. You know what I'm saying? I love that how they are dealing with music as a product and they're using it to associate it with other products. And I think they're doing a lot of smart things like that. You know what I mean? Taking control of merchandise and, developing brands around themselves. I mean, all of these things are genius things. And I think that, like, if you can't take a moment to pull back from however your bias is about it and just bear witness and see genius in motion, you tripping. Like, so I'm looking at it just like, yo, these kids is brilliant, man. You know what I mean? I'll be watching like Larry June, and I'll be watching the Russell and Earl Sweatshirt and stuff like that. And then like I can't think of all their names like that. I ain't really good with that. I ain't going front for nobody, but I'm especially watching like Larry June and Alchemist and 2 Chainz, even though they're not young like that. But but they making music for now, and they got an audience for now, and what they delivering artist wise, I think is brilliant. And I think that when I look at Russell, he's like literally handing out textbooks on what to do right now to get where he's supposed to be going. And I'll be right sitting at the front of that class and listening to what the boy got to say. So I really respect these young people and what they're doing. So I like a lot of their mind, man, big time. And I like the way they network, the way they work together and they do things, man. I think they're brilliant, and I think they know how to make what they got work. So yeah, I got big respect for all that, man. On the other side of it, am I happy with messages or? I mean, nah. I mean, that's slippery too, because where they get it from, you know what I'm saying? Like they ain't put themselves in this situation. Their parents did, you know what I'm saying? Because it was their parents that when hip hop was fun and creative and different and unique, it was their parents that jumped on that train and calling it happy rap and dissing it, you know what I'm saying? And so that was their parents doing, jumping on that bandwagon and then, abandoning the very reason why people internationally fell in love with hip hop. It wasn't because people were scared of, yo, you come to my town, we gonna F you up. It's like an old timer now. But now, you can F you up. I ain't want to curse on the show and stuff. I'm saying, I ain't want to. I'm saying, like, where years ago people love New York. I'm a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you see how I'm rolling. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I love New York, and I love being from New York. You know what I mean? But I watched and seen what happened. Right? So it ain't no like. It ain't selling yourself out when you bearing witness. You're like, yo, y'all making bad moves right now. Like like for New York not embracing other places was a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? So people was like loving New York hip hop, and New York was hip hop at one point because we was the only ones that was really producing it.
Right.
You heard? And so you had all of these like other states full of black people throughout the diaspora of America, let's just say. And when Run DMC and Houdini and LL Cool J and whosoever else was on them Fresh Fest and all of that, like them first little Def Jam type of joints that was going out in the late 80s, you heard, it wasn't New York people that was filling up them stands in them clubs. It was people from them various areas, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, like, if you turn around and then I say, yo, all right, 5 years go by, and now people from, Augusta, Georgia, they done came up with their own version of hip-hop based on loving what they seen us do, but it also culturally consistent with what it mean to be an Augusta person. You know what I'm saying? and what that life is about. So they rhyming consistent with that. And New York was giving them the acid kiss. Like, I'm not rocking with y'all. You know what I mean? And so you create this space where it's like, yo, now people have, animosity versus doing what they were supposed to be able to do, which was come show their big brothers their version of hip hop, because that was all they was really trying to do, show their big brothers what they created. You know what I'm saying? And for us to be as proud of them as they was of us. And I think that was a big mistake that we made as a region. So that's why I don't do that with young people. All of that to say is why I enjoy young people's stuff, and I understand where, truthfully, it was us that dropped the ball on making certain type of music and vibing a certain way. And because of that, I can't look at these young people and act like that happened in a vacuum because they just the lowest of the low. That ain't how that happened. That's not real at all. You know what I mean? Like, they are the byproducts of parents that weren't absentee parents. You heard? And as far as hip hop go.
Yeah.
Well, Kim, who would you collaborate now with if you had to collaborate with any newer old school artists? Who would you collab with? Who would you want to collab with?
I would want to collab with anybody that would want to rhyme with me, number one, because that's, because one, like, I just really like rhyming. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like, how y'all feel about being podcasters, right? Like, do y'all be like, yo, man, I can't wait to talk to this person, and because, I researched him, and, yo, he seemed interesting. I'm curious to find out what this, I don't know if, like, it'd be like that for y'all doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, I dabbled in podcasting, right? And then, so I know that there's a lot of working parts in it. So I would imagine that to be able to do this consistently, right, there's got to be a part of it that there's a real strong passion, because that passion's got to pull you through the times when it don't make sense to be doing it, right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so with that being said, with hip-hop, like, I rhyme for fun, first and foremost, because I just legitimately like the sound of hearing my voice over dope beats and rhyming. Like, that shit is like super fun for me, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so as far as who to rhyme with, it's like whoever, man, like whoever just be wanting to rhyme. Now, I will say this. I am working on a new album, and it's called The Eye of God, and it's crazy dope, right? And everybody say that about their project, but it really is, right? So,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like, let me just clear any confusion about it in this particular situation. I'm telling the truth. I don't know about everybody else, but when I say it, you can believe me. Yeah. Let me call mine in the being. But nah, I'm just saying, I did a collab with Do It All from Lords of the Underground, which sounds awesome. I did a collab with Tajay from Souls of Mischief, and I killed the MC from Jurassic 5, and that joint crazy. Like, you never heard them on no beats like this. Wow. I got a joint that I got in process with Sir Mix-a-Lot. I got a joint with my cousin Cheddar Bang. I got a joint that I'm waiting to get the vocals back on right now for AMG. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll be rhyming with a lot of people, and I do a lot of collabs throughout the course of the year. So, sometimes the collabs don't come out though. You know what I mean? Which, like I try to make songs, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, a couple of cats, I'm like, yo, so when you gonna put that song out? This joint is fire. Everybody loves this song. When you gonna put it out? And cats don't be wanting to put them joints out, yo. And that, I don't know. I can't call it with that, but I do a lot of songs with people. I do a lot of music with people, and I just really just want to rhyme with people that have a similar interest as me, which is that they do it for fun first and foremost, and that they really love it. You know what I mean? I don't really see like doing it for all the industry-esque sort of reasons. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we that ship has sailed already. So there's no point in being on that kind of time. Like, yo, son, he hot out there right now, so I'm gonna do a song with him because he hot. Nah, I'm gonna do a song with him because I always liked his verse in so and so, and I always wanted to hear him over a joint like this that I'm gonna be making right now, and I want him to be on it. Like that's why I want to rhyme with people.
That's the point. Like who do you feel like that? Like who? Give us a somebody. Like who?
Everybody, like everybody that want to rhyme. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Because
who do you listen to? Like there gotta be somebody you.
All right, so what? If you say who I listen to, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like, nah, they ain't. Nah, it's different. No, yeah, it's different. Like because who I listen to right now, I don't really listen to nobody, but I listen to people though. You know what I mean? I sound like a real like doofus artist right now. All right, let me lock in. Let me lock in. I sound like one of them. I sound like one of them wild dumb dudes to get on the interview. You be like, yo, so wild, stupid, yo. Like, yo, why is he even talking like it's like, yo, I don't listen to nobody, but I listen to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, my boy. That's bad fake deep, yo. Nah, real talk though. What it is that as an artist, I try to avoid listening to too many people in general because you know, I don't want to emulate what they doing. You know what I mean? Somebody do a dope song, it's going to be hard. You know, you try to make a song like you just heard. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, yo, let me just make what's in my spirit that I got that's going to make what I'm singing different than what Scrams is talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though that song was hard, I can't go make that song. He just made it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why it's like, I don't really be listening to cats. However, right, I be listening to cats because I'm in the middle of a project. This is where the hypocrisy of it all comes in, right? So I don't want to listen to none of it when I'm creating. Leave all that alone. I don't really want to vibe on that. It's the luck of the draw. If I caught it, I caught it, right? What I do want to listen for is approach, right? So I'm listening to a lot of Larry June, Alchemist, you know, that kind of that area of everybody that's doing that. So like, you know, I know Earl Sweatshirt like that now, and you know, who else? There's a few of I can't, you know, I no disrespecting them because I'm just learning them a lot of these cats. So you know what I mean, like, but I'm you know I listen to their music, especially when I'm working on my house. And I'm looking at their wave, which I just think is brilliant. Like I was explaining earlier, you know, how they engage in their fan base. They have a nice niche audience. You know, they getting larger, you know what I mean? And they're expanding as a unit and as, you know, as a collective and as individuals in their units. But it's really a fundamental, solid, core audience that they built up over these last few years. And they delivering exactly what they're looking for. They developed a really great service line so that they can make sure that they provide in their fan base what they're looking for in terms of visuals and music, and they're keeping it consistent, and they understanding that their process is brilliant. So, you know, those are the things that when I'm really tracking somebody, I'm not tracking them because they rhymes is dope. No slight to them as MCs. I think they do their big one, you know what I'm saying, for what they do. Because, you know, again, you got to respect hip-hop from the context and the region and the story that particular person is selling. Sometimes we be listening to stuff and expecting it to sound like so-and-so, and it's like, yeah, but they not so-and-so. They this cat, and this cat's telling this story, and this is the style he's telling it. Can you tap into that style? Nah, then that's not for you, but there's mad people that think that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there's mad people that think E40 is you know, the best ever because, yo, the style that he come up with, the slang, the way he approaches his delivery, the uniqueness of that string, you know, plucks a chord in them that's like, yo, boy, I can hear that, man. That's, you know, the other dude, I think, Keek the Sneak, I think, he'd be like, yo, got me where to go. And he'd be doing all that type of carrying on, and he like, to me, I'm listening to him like, yo, he don't be rhyming on beat or nothing to me, right? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? But when you look at the kids dance and they start going dumb and they doing all their footwork and all that type of, you know, they getting into their thing, all of it makes sense when you start doing, you step back from it like that. You like, yo, when you look at the big picture of the music, you like, oh, this is crazy. I didn't even realize what I was listening to. I'm just listening to it with, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s New York ears. I'm not listening to it with, yo, look at how this kid is dressing and look at the dance that Shorty's doing and, yo, look at the colors that is everywhere and the cars that they driving and, yo, this is a whole dimension that I'm in. And I think that we miss out. You know what I mean? Like, we miss the beauty of a lot of stuff because we be so caught up in what we was doing and what yesterday looked like time don't move on. Like, yo, yo, it's all right, yo. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's all right. You could grow up, fam, and still have a good time and still do your thing and do it the way you do it. And that's really what you should do instead of like looking at these young people, down your glasses and, down the slope of your nose, like as if they disgusting you. When in truth, this is the most beautiful time in hip hop. If we get our mind right, it's the first time in the history of any of this type of stuff, modern music, where the parents and the kids got the same bop, yo.
That's facts.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we can hang out with our kids.
Straight like that. Y'all got this, yo, y'all send each other memes on Instagram or TikTok because it'd be funny to both of y'all because y'all reach that age where now they in the, you talk grown talk with them now. So now it's like, it's like you just talk and talk. And it's like, yo, this, it's my baby boy, it's my baby girl. And she come in here and we gossip for an hour about what we talking about. They just got different mediums than we do. And I think that it's like, yo, that's, I think us saying like talking them old Miss Crabtree type of old time stuff that, that I ain't got time for that, that rappamatazz you guys are doing. Like, we're not on that. Like, we literally are the generation of people that brought the world from analog tape players and records and 8-track cassettes and CB radio. Cats used to really be driving, they still do though, driving up and down the road, long haul and talking about breaker 19. Like that was a real thing, you know what I mean? Like that's a real thing. We come from that. We were beepers, yo. And freaking motor. Where did you get the one everybody was BlackBerry? We put a whole bunch of text and that shit. You thought you was doing something. You know what I mean? Man, put a whole. Nah, Nextel. That was everybody was getting that. I'm talking about the BlackBerry joint where you could put all the text on there, not just the Nextel joint, bro. Even though the Nextel with the chirp, right? You know what I mean? Like you think about all this stuff that we walked through. Am I in this joint? Okay, cool. Yeah, like you think of all the stuff that we walked through in terms of technology. We walked into CDs. I'm literally one of the people that literally built the internet. Like literally wired this joint up and literally was racking and stacking them servers in MCI WorldCom /UUNet at the time. Like, I literally was on Comcast and not Comcast, but it was like CompuServe and America Online. You know what I mean? We used to have the you know what I'm saying, come through your phone. You had to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember you had to just get on the internet using dial-up? Like, yo, that's how it worked. You know what I mean? And, sometimes even us that lived through that forget that we lived through all of that. You know what I mean? So it's like important for us not to lose sight of, staying hip. You know what I mean? That's the whole premise of hip hop is that you hip. Number one, you know what's going on. You know what's happening. Like, yo, it's over here. It's over there. Yo, you got, where you be getting the songs at? Yo, I be listening to so-and-so. He come on at 2 o'clock at night. That's what hip hop is that we still actively pursue the culture itself, not just, go out late at night, but we might be up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to hear dope podcasts. because you know that he play all the dope stuff that they don't play everywhere else. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So let's take it back to how the UMCs was created, and let's talk about your first studio experience and your first performance, like that whole experience back then. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, back then, like, experience was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you're dreaming of doing something that is a dream. Like, it's really, this is a dream. This is not reality. This is, and at the time, again, there's no whole bunch of success stories built around it that justify or, makes it, hey, how you selling to see your moms? You know what I mean? She got a kid that he got the potential to do anything he wanted, if he wanted to.
Right.
And he's chasing after rap music. And at the time, it hasn't proven itself yet. It's not $1 million industry at this point. You know what I mean? But it's just dope, yo. It's like, it's something, it was just something about it.
Right.
And so everything, everything was a part of the experience of being it. So, like, you see how you say, like, your first studio experience, I had already bought studio equipment, so it was in the house.
Okay.
So my first experience was I had bought equipment.
Right.
So I was already, like, so going in the studio was more of a hassle to me to this day than anything else. Cause like, nah, go right to get it. Just go in the studio, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But so that didn't have the same, other than the fact that it was $35 an hour, and I had noted the power of ownership. Like, the more that you have for yourself, the less money you got to worry about breaking off with everybody else. Because what artists should know, as a quick sidebar, is that you get a. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. So tell us how you met Haj G, because you were in a group with Haj G, right? You guys
Yes.
had the UMCs. Tell us how you met Haj G, and what does UMC stand for?
I met Haj on the way home from work. We was both working at the Statue of Liberty. You know what I'm saying? So we literally was working on the same shift that You God and Method Man was working on, and I want to say Rakim was working on. One of them was working on it as well. So that we met on the Staten Island ferry. So there's the ferry that takes you from Manhattan, from Liberty Island to Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a ferry that takes you from from Manhattan to Staten Island. So I ran into him on the boat, on the Staten Island ferry boat. And, we made fast friends. And he was a part of this larger crew. But blah, 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 all that, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, it was a split down the middle. My mans and his mans, they made a crew. And me and Son made a crew. And we was like, and we was like the Universal MCs at first. You know what I'm saying? The Universal MC, because it was like Universal Stepping Strong. So we was the Universal MCs, and my mans and my other man that was a DJ Yakeem, and my man Will. They crew was called Stepping Strong.
Mm-hmm.
So that was with, like, Will is the front man, because he wanted to be the front man, but it wasn't like, once with me and Hans in the group, it was like, you ain't gonna be the front man, my man, because you got 3 front men right here. Like, everybody got it ain't gonna work like that. You know what I'm saying? So we used to, like, do everything in his house. So blah blah blah, all that. We end up coming out with a record. So when we decided to do the record, that's when everybody stood on this is what I want to do. And so he went off to be Stepping Strong, and then we became the UMCs. And like I said, it was Universal MCs at the time. And then when we signed to WAP at GMI, it was the UMCs, and then that meant it's anything we could make up at the time, to be honest with you. But generally, Undisputed Masters of Charisma.
Nice. Awesome.
That's dope. Yeah.
And then I was going to ask you before, but you already answered the question. Basically, when you were talking about the old school versus new school, like, how do you feel though about pioneers and even like new artists that do compare the two? Like, say, well, today's music, that's mumble rap and all that, and then the new would say, well, we don't have nothing to do with the old school. How do you feel about that?
I think that, my man said to me years ago, man, he's like, yo, don't make any unnecessary enemies. And I was like, yo, and I was on one at the time. I'm one of them type of cats that.
Yeah.
Say again. What'd you say? Oh, I must have missed it, but I was like, yo, okay, no, it's all good. Yeah, he's like, yo, don't make no unnecessary enemies. And I'm one of them type of cats that once I get going, I'm going. Like, y'all be like, yo, this dude, he talk to us like we was 12 years old. I go like that. If you talk to me about something I'm passionate about, and especially if you have like a stupid position, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, yo, man, don't make any unnecessary enemies to the extent that like people do it make them happy, yo. You know what I'm saying? If Cass want to be stuck in that time warp, do what makes you happy, my man. Like, yo, that, some people enjoy their fandom, right, of the music. They're enjoying it. That's how they enjoy it. To talk about how bad it sucks. You understand what I'm saying? It's just, I'm gonna tell you right now. Like when Prince Paul's beats were extremely much better than like any of this trash you hear right now. And you're like, dude, like it's like, but that's their enjoyment. Like they're like like how people that go to watch Harry Potter, but they read all of the books, and they have watched every Harry Potter movie, spin-off, anything that it was even whatever related to it. But right after that movie, you'll be walking to the car with them, and they'll be like, yo, that ain't even nowhere near as good as the book. It's nowhere near as good. You be like, all right, fam, all right, all right, book reader. You know what I'm saying? I know you know everything. You know what I mean? But that's how they're enjoying it. You understand? And so, people digest music and the experiences that, what they said, art decorates walls, music decorates moments. Like, and so, these songs, man, these songs be hitting like really like soundtracks in your life when you think of some of these songs that you grew up with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, like, them times when you slip up and you be on YouTube at the right time of night, and then, yo, the DJ's just dropping, like, he just start hitting them joints or whatever, your playlist is just dropping bangers. You're like, ooh, I ain't heard this in years. Oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? And you hearing it, and it's like, it's moving something inside of you. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you be wanting to cry because you be thinking about, those long lost days and stuff, you know what I mean? And old loves and, earnest happiness and dirt tunnels and, what I'm saying, and butterflies and all kind of stuff that that you can remember. You know what I mean? Face be so dirty from playing outside so long that when you would inevitably have cried at some point, you could see the little cry streaks down your dirty ass face because you was outside playing so long. Like, people doing flips on a pissy mattress outside. Like, these things that these songs, these memories that these songs elicit. You know what I mean? Maybe we could try again. Try. Yo, when I think of that song, I think it's just like my first girlfriend, and like, the little breakup we was having, and then this song is playing on WBLS, and when I hear that song, I'm 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean? I'm there in that moment. You know what I mean? And so I say all that to say that, like, on one hand, I'm gentle with my elders and myself being older now, because I know why we're talking the way we're talking, right? It's a longing that we're speaking to, and there's actually a cure for that. But without the cure, let's setting that aside for a moment. It's a longing and a loneliness that comes with being older, because there don't be nothing for you no more. Like, they don't got nothing for you to do. Like, everything was supposed to happen when you was 20 something. So now you 50 and you feel like getting into something. Your legs feel good. You like, yo, I want to get into something. You heard? And there ain't no something for you to get into that make no sense for you to get into it because you'll look crazy at the club at 3 o'clock in the morning. You heard? Like, yo, look at Old Timer in here. He look nuts. You heard? So you can't go there. But you know you want something for yourself and there ain't nothing out there for yourself. So all you could do is wax poetically about what you was. But I'm saying that there's a whole world of something for us out here. We in the prime of our lives, yo. Our kids is grown. We got us a little extra money. We got time on our hand because time for us is incredibly different than our kids because our kids don't know a life of going to the library and searching through the Dewey Decimal System to try to find a book. Like, they don't know nothing about that. They know about snatching the phone out their rear pocket and then literally being connected to an infinite supply of information. Yeah. So time don't hit the same way for them as it does for us. So we got all this time that we've been afforded through technology, right? If we just set up the right systems and infrastructures for ourselves to do these things that we want to do. And we just need to find those things, engage in those things, and enjoy it. And we won't be too having the time to talk about shorty whopping them and what they doing. Like, I just come off of doing my event, Beats and Bars Barbecue here in Augusta, Georgia, at my house. I'm gonna be honest with you. Thank God for technology, because I would have certainly missed this interview because I'm still recovering from that joint, and it was 2 weeks ago as of Friday.
Wow.
I'm still trying to recover. Like, I am exhausted from an amazingly good time that I had in my house.
I wanted to ask you next, man. Speaking of digestion, I like to eat a lot, so that Beats and Bars,
right?
That barbecue, I wanted to ask you about that, man. And I would love to attend one day.
I mean, I hear you talking, you know what I'm saying? You ain't saying nothing but a word, though, you know? I do my thing in action. I'm verb. That's what's happening. So, you know what I'm saying? Listen, that ain't nothing but a point of meat. Like, yo, just come on out then. That's all you got to do. Because it is big fun. It started because I had I got a huge front yard, but like a tiny backyard, right? So what we did with the front yard is that the way we zoned is such that we was able to put sheds. You know, like when you're driving up the highway, you see the sheds outside and all like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you have like barns and stuff like that, some of them, and some of you have little porches and stuff like that. Well, all right. Well, boom. Image one of those. I went and bought one of those that was like 12 feet by 28 feet. So it was long and wide, and relatively wide. You know what I mean? And I turned that into a studio / a man cave. And I was doing it live on Instagram, and I was feeling myself. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I was really feeling myself. I was so proud of myself. I jumped on Instagram one day out of the blue and just invited everybody to my house for a daggone barbecue. And I was like, yo, we're gonna have a barbecue March 28th. January, February, March. I live in Augusta, and Augusta, Georgia got 2 seasons. Summertime and Christmas. All right? Straight like that. And let me tell you something. March 28th, yo, Jack Frost was really nibbling at our nose. Who in the world, what spirit moved me to have a barbecue in the freezing cold, just newly crowned spring of 2023? And I did that joint, yo, and people actually literally came out to this one-horse town of Augusta that don't nobody be coming out here unless it's the Masters tournament. Ain't nobody talking about coming to Augusta. Guys literally drove 13 hours from like Connecticut, from freaking Ohio, from freaking Illinois. Now I'm not sure now. But I mean, from all over the place. Cats is driving it from Alabama, Atlanta, all the Northeast Seaboard. You know what I mean? Cats was really jumping in their whips and getting on their planes and coming to my house and filling it with mad love and respect. And when I tell you that we had a live band there that day, And we had such a good time that I called the year one inspiration. And in the second year, I called it the vibe, because the second year I had redid my backyard and redid my wife's garden. So it was just crazy. Like we put the little trellis. Kids, you can hear me? Hey, what's the things with the tomatoes? What they call the trellises? A trellis. Yeah, well, all right, boom. So we got the trellises going from one, thing to the other. So like, when cats came to Beats and Bars last year, we was making a burger or a little, man sandwich and being like, what kind of lettuce you want? You want some butter crunch lettuce, or you want some this lettuce, or whatever lettuce we had in there? They were like, I want some with butter crunch. That sounds good. I'd be like, right. I said, come on, you're going to walk over here. We'll walk to the garden, snap over a piece of butter crunch lettuce right off the off the tree. Off the little plant, you know what I'm saying? And, that was their food, like tomato straight from the vine. So it was like, that was a vibe, right? And this year was, it went someplace else. This thing is like it's at this point, it's like, I have to look at it as a festival. It was crazy amount of people here.
Okay.
Everybody had mad fun. It was just a nice kickback. We had like 2 or 3, 4 DJs in here. My man DJ Kool Kim, who DJs for New Edition, he came through because he wanted to see it from last year. So he's like, I'm coming through this year. I'm going to come through on Saturday. So he came bright and early. And, the breakdancing contest DJ, he was out front. And he was doing his big one so hard that Kool Kim had to jump on the turntable, like, let me get a little bit of that. So he started going in. And you get in a cat that's not somebody you can get to just jump on your block party turntables, you heard? But that's the vibes of it. It's so hip hop. My man Shabam Sadiq came up with his wife, and he was like, yo, son, this is like hip hop land. He said, as soon as I turn the corner, I'm in like hip hop world. Like I've never seen nothing like this. I'm like, son, it's the vibes, because it's vibes over everything, you heard? And I was like, vibes, it was vibes. And we was just in there. It's such an adult hip hop energy. But we got the bouncy houses and the pool out for the babies. You know what I mean? We got just mad, y'all. We got it so that everybody was comforted and accommodated for. And so it was just a family affair. And oh man, that's where we need to be at, fam. When we talking about our hip
I'm
hop.
about to say I'm in Georgia, so next year maybe Rosie, you could come over here and we can just drive, because I'm like 2 hours from Augusta. So.
Oh yeah, that's where everybody that was coming from Atlanta is roughly 2.5 hours at the
2 hours.
No doubt.
Yeah, y'all gotta come through because the first day was the meet and greet, right? Everybody touching ground because it's Beats and Bars barbecue itself is Saturday, right? But Cash is coming into town on Friday, so it's Friday and Saturday because y'all coming into town, come to the house, y'all kick it. We'll come up with something to do. Bomb. Well, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday because Cash done stayed the night Saturday night, so they're not leaving on Sunday. Some point. So, why don't you come in for breakfast? That's how that went, right? So, it became a 3-day event. And then this year, we refined it as a 3-day event and was like, so Friday we did the meet and greet. Everybody was just kind of kicking it, listening to music and stuff like that. I did a listening session for my album that I'm working on. Then from there, we went to this local venue called Gransky Records, and everybody was performing. So that was wild dope. We had comedians as well. So we had 3 dope comedians as a part of our lineup as well. So, just adding, just trying to add experiences with the events so that everything not just, I'm going to watch these cats perform, but, that there's more of an experience. Gransky Records was actually a record store, so they have vinyl and like that. So it's just wild. It's like a wild, surreal experience, like, to perform there. Saturday was the actual barbecue. We had the spades contest. We had the b-boy contest, which was amazing. The spades contest was crazy. We had the open stage, so we had Dinko D perform, myself perform, Kill from Jurassic 5 performed, Shabam Sadiq performed, Stars of Beyond performed, Milosevic Outlaw came through, and a few others came through and just laid it down, you know what I mean, and did their thing. The DJs were phenomenal. The sound was phenomenal.
Speaking of, my man, I'm DJ Sean Rebel. Salute to you, UMCs.
Peace, King. Peace.
King. And we're about to drop something on you real heavy. It's gonna be fun though. I'm gonna make my man Austin. He gonna introduce what we're gonna do with you right now. You're gonna have some fun with this. Trust me.
All right, lay it on me, y'all.
Kool Kim, how you doing, brother? It's been a pleasure having you here. Now, we at the part of the show that we call Playtime. Here's how it works. We have a wheel. We got 6 songs on the wheel. Whatever that song lands on, you tell us what you was doing at that time. How did this make you look at hip-hop differently? And what was your most embarrassing moment at the time the song was out?
All right,
this is your mission should you choose to accept it.
All right, I accept.
All right, then. How about we roll that beautiful bean footage and let's get it cracking.
Here we go.
All right.
How you like me now?
What was I doing when that came out? How you like me now? That was around the time I used to go to the walkathon. You heard? The walkathon was a thing of magic. If I ever get some money, I'm gonna do a documentary about the walkathon because that has such to do with the hip hop story of America that's not talked about. So I think like the march downs, whatever, they used to have this walking fundraiser called the walkathon, and all 5 boroughs would come outside. You know what I mean? Because he was walking from like Brooklyn and up to Harlem type of thing. So that meant like all the boroughs was outside because you was going to see everybody. You was going to see everybody. You was going to see what everybody was wearing. What was the hottest sneaker? What was everything that was going on? That was the Sears catalog of that. That was fashion week of hip hop. And yeah, you would walk there. Oh my God, Oh my God. I mean, if you've never been to the walkathon, you miss such an integral part of hip hop that it's almost beyond my ability to explain. Because it was like, you would walk through different neighborhoods and you would see like how people was getting fresh because everybody was freshly dipped. That's where that term comes from, you freshly dipped. It was like, oh my God. Yeah, I was messing with the walkathon. That's what I was doing. I was walking on the walkathon when that came out.
That's what's up.
Most embarrassing thing I was doing to that song, probably trying to hump on some little girl or something like that when I was a little kid or something.
Wow. All right, that's real. Okay.
Man, hey, I like you now.
We're gonna do it again, bro. We're gonna do it again.
Right, come on, let's do it. I got 5 more. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make my answer short. Too long with it for interviews, y'all. I'm trying. All right. Wait, Big Daddy Kane was smooth operator.
Oh yeah.
Shoot. Big Daddy Kane, smooth operator. I'm trying. Yo, all right. So at that time, me and Haas, we would be out trying to get on. You heard? So we would have dance routines. Of the 2 of us, I was the dancer. You understand what I'm saying? Haas could hit he could hit a step, but I was the one that was the dancer. You know what I mean? I used to go and do battles and win contests. You know what I'm saying? And
we heard about you on Soul Train, man. So we heard about that. We seen
Soul
that interview.
Train.
We seen that interview. We did our homework.
Nah, Soul Train is one of my great disappointments in life, y'all. It was, yo. It was. You know why? Because one we got sent home. Like, yo, like I ain't gonna lie, like
they packed y'all up, man.
Yeah, he packed us up, yo. He was just like, oh. Yeah, he's, we was trying, chasing down the dancers and shit. And yo, Don Cornelius pokes his head out his dressing room door. And at the time, he looked like he was wearing like a muumuu kind of like where they back in like the 80s and 70s, like they would just have like silken fabric just like draping over him with like a ostrich feathers around the neck type of thing. Like he had that kind of thing on, right? And he just eased out the side of the door and just was like, okay, it's time for y'all to go home. I was like, oh, wow. Yo, I abruptly turned my ass around and went home, yo. Yo, you know how you be trying to leave? Yo, you ever be with your friends, y'all get in trouble, so you be trying to leave because it's a wash, yo. Let's back it up, right? But then you got them other friends that like they refuse, like they gonna take it all the way to the end. You like, yo, you the one standing by the door like, yo, we gotta go, yo, we got him. That was me. The way he said that to me, I was like, yo, it's time to go, yo. I just gotta stay home. But I'm mad about Soul Train because all my life I was like, yo, I'm a dance these Soul Train cats down. Like, I was gunning for the Soul Train dances. They was ducking me for a title fight. I was like, that's how bad I wanted me some of them Soul Train dances. And I didn't take the opportunity to dance on the Soul Train line. And I missed out on that. And that'll be one of those things that, for the rest of my life, I'll be thinking of you. So you just start thinking that sad ass song and you're like, I should have danced on Soul Train.
Let's keep it moving, man.
Oh my God, that was funny. I like that story.
That's it.
I got a million of them, yo. I got a million of them.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Sad. Fuji Rap. Road to Riches.
Fuji Rap.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so Road to Riches. I really ain't got nothing for that, really. You know what I'm saying?
All right, if
I could just say that Streets of New York, when he did that video, I was like, yo, that was. He said, a little kid said, yo, I got a color TV, CD player, and car stereo, and all I want is a capsule. I also got a 38. Don't give me no hassle. Honestly, oh my God. That was one of those lines where the genius of hip-hop, like the fact that, yo, this is a genius level skill set. And the reason why, aside from the fact that we made mistakes when we was younger and allowed ourselves and allowed hip-hop to be led to the where it's at now, right? There's definitely a very real effort and contingent and COINTEL operation, counterintelligence operation to dumb down the power of hip-hop. Because when you think about how hip-hop was back when we was coming up, yo, we was never edifying drug usage, you heard? And for a long time, we wasn't edifying drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about the Masters of Ceremony, you know what I mean? Don Byron, Dr. Who, and it's my man name. This is the first name I should be knowing. Grand Poobah. Dilly 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 Grand Poobah. From dilly 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 Dr. Who. From dilly 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 Don Byron. We're talking about Masters of Ceremony. and they had that joint Crack is the Word. Remember that joint? Where it's like, yo, hey, yo, sis, what up? You heard what sis said? Well, crack is the word. I look and shook my head and said, you mess with crack, it better be while I'm dead. Because if I ever catch you, I'll punch you in your head. All my friends do it. I say your friends are jokes. You know, like, that's what we was rhyming like that to this. You know what I mean? Jungle Brothers' first album, they had the song Black Woman, Femme Noire. You know what I'm saying? I want to make a beautiful world for beautiful you, black woman. You heard? I said, black woman, mother of the earth, black woman. You gave me birth. You can truly see what's in me. You can help me be the best that I can be. What? That's what we was rhyming. Like, that's one thing cats be forgetting. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of times we getting into this very disposable, everything from one year to the next. Like, last year ain't happened just because this year is hot. It's like, yo, last year happened too. That's why this year hot. You heard? Like, you know, and I think we be looking at hip-hop like that too much, where it's like, yo, we got to stop with that fashionable-ish. We got to get into, you know, yo, this is a high-level art form that was doing the beautiful work that young men and young women do in the communities that they grow up in the absence of parental support. You know what I mean? These songs that we wrote, these hip-hop songs we wrote in them years, yo, they were songs that Cash was siphoning off wisdom to one another with what little bit of wisdom we had. You know what I mean? From whether it was 5% of business, whether what we gleaned from being around cats in the hood and the pimps and the whores and who's and ever, the working men and women and one or two fathers that would be around in them households, we was passing off knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Trying to educate each other and give each other right knowledge in all of them songs. And it go for years with us like that, all the way when you talk about they're like White Lines, or you talk about the Message, Broken Glass Everywhere, people pissing on station, yo, they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise, got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because a man with the touch repossessed my car. You know, that was real life living in New York in them years.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's one of them songs that made hip-hop so amazing, because he had captured a real, yo, this is really going on in the real life living of somebody right now. That verse applies to somebody right now. You know what I'm saying?
We're in the moment, fam. And with that said, we got one more for you, bro. One more for you. So let's go ahead and get it in.
I definitely will chuck y'all into a whole nother tangent. Hold on, let's get to it.
We love that about you, though.
I just be talking about what I be wanting to talk about. What we got here?
Rakim, Paid in Full.
Rakim, Paid in Full. All right, so Rakim is a moment in hip hop, right? So he's like the great catalyst. So he's like a Jesus Christ sort of figure in the way of, you know, it was the Old Testament to that point. Mm-hmm. And then Rakim comes and he ushers in this New Testament. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, now we got this whole nother experience lyrically. You know, so that particular song wasn't one of my favorites, so I'm not gonna speak to that one. But I'm gonna speak to Move the Crowd. You heard?
All right.
And when you think about, again, the artistry, my son said, listen to what he said to us, yo. Standing by the speaker, suddenly I had this. Fever wasn't neither. Summer madness. But I just can't stand around, so the closer I get, the better it sound. My mind start to activate, dream and imaginate. Because when I heard this beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head. So I fell into the groove of the wax, and I said, how can I move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. You know what I'm saying? Here's the instructions. Put it together. It's simple, ain't it?
Yeah.
But quite clever. You know, so when you start realize that, when you realize that, yo, that's what he said, and what he said completely encapsulates the experience of being an MC, about to become, being a kid that's about to become an MC, and you're standing at the city sponsored summer stage events that they having. And so now they do, which we call them block parties in them years. And so now you at the block party at Mahoney Park or wherever you at in Brooklyn or wherever. For me, it was Mahoney Park in Staten Island. And, yo, the Fat Boys is rolled out on stage and they hitting Brutal Stickum. And you're like, yo, you literally seeing these people with your own two eyes doing this, like, it's almost like witchcraft. And they saying stuff, you know exactly what they talking about. Your moms can't figure out what they talking about. Your pops can't figure out what they talking about. The teachers can't figure out what they talking about. It all sound like ooga booga to them. But yo, you standing there and yo, son is literally preaching a 4-minute, 5-minute gospel to you to a boom bap beat, a James Brown drum loop. And that song, like when you say like Rock Kim, that's somebody that you immediately in your mind, that moment, you know, that time frame is what that was. You heard, like, yeah. And if I talk about the most embarrassing thing I could have done in that, it's probably humping on somebody's daughter, because it just was a lot going on when I was young.
That was the humping era.
That was the humping era. That was humping. It
was the humping hump.
Everybody was humping. You know, sidebar real quick. I mean, this might be a little dark humor, but, you know, sidebar. Did you notice, like, is it me? Or when you was a kid, right? Did you notice that whenever, like, that kind of humping situation would go on, right? And that's kind of candid question. So, you know, y'all can lie if you want to, right? But, because, you know, you're like, I never did that, but whatever, right? But if you have moments, like, everybody that hump, right? Everybody did like this. Like where did we get that from? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Lord.
I'm assuming y'all laughing because y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, right? But it's like, when you think about that for a minute, right? How did we all know to do that sound, yo?
It was universal. It was universal language.
Like, everybody knew, like, you knew that if you was like, you ain't never had no kind of experience ever in your days. You don't even know, like, you can't even untangle your pants from off your joints. And you up there humping on this little girl talking about and like, yo, where did I even get this from, yo?
hey, y'all give it up for my man Kool Kim, man.
That was a pleasure, man. Just leave y'all on a positive note like that, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
Hey, yo, real quick, check me out on Instagram, Kool Kim, Kool Kim _ NYOIL. I'm on there heavy, you know what I'm saying? Check me out on YouTube, something like that, the same thing. I got new music every day, all the time, so just check out, just look up my name up places, and you'll see my name. You'll be like, yo, let me hear what old boy talking about. You'll be like, oh, son can rhyme. Like, yeah, that's, you know, so have that dope experience. And Beats and Bars Barbecue, of course. New album, Eye of God. Trust me, if anybody watching, y'all watching, you saying to yourself, yo, this was all right, but all right, all that. Listen to this album, man, get at me. You heard?
Hey, listen,
get at me.
Send it to us, man. We here. Send it to us. Definitely.
Oh yeah, without question. You know what I'm saying? And the first track on the album is gonna be the skit of these two young people, and they're gonna be going.
Yo,
that's crazy, right? Nah, but real talk though. Check out the new album. It's coming soon. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I think we're going to be doing a skiing trip. So if we do that, I just got to see, because, like, this Beats and Bars should be, I'll be tired. So, you know what I mean? So, I got to see. But if I get it together, we're going to do some skiing. But otherwise,
for sure.
I'm going to let y'all know. Make sure y'all check all this. Yo. Hold on. I'm trying to get off the phone, right? Like, yo, hold on. I'm trying to get off this, right, by doing it smooth, but I keep messing up. So it's like, then we get back into this loop. Oh, let me do this right. Hold on a second. All right, so, yo, this is your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim. Yo, thanks so much for having me here. It's a wonderful opportunity talking to you. So awesome sharing some of my stories with you guys. Make sure to check out for me on all the social media outlets that I might presently be on. And listen out for some new music from me from the Eye of God. And also 12, which is a product is out on streaming. And that's all I got to say. And I'm glad I'm sorry with y'all. And I'm getting me some rest because I'm tired. And that's what that is.
All right, my brother. Peace, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
I told y'all, he's
Follow us
animated.
on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Playback 2024 and the Playback podcast on TikTok. All right.
Blazing 420
Blazing 420.
WPAM.
That's right.
Welcome to the Playback, y'all. This is how we do.
Welcome to the
Syndicated
Playback.
everywhere.
Yeah, Rosa. Tell him, Rosa.
Right. Without all those noises from back in the day. Huh?
Oh my God, he was so hilarious, man. I can't get over
That's in the look. He left us
Rebel
with a diamond because that's gonna
definitely
be
called
your
him.
head.
Listen,
That was funny.
we got to keep that in the edits. That can't go nowhere. That's definitely got to stay here.
Yeah.
That's got to stay.
We're here to stay with that one, man. I think we don't have to do no edits.
That should be the intro.
Nah. So let's do a video and audio so that we can see if we can get it on YouTube too.
Okay.
Yeah.
On YouTube too.
Yeah.
On you.
Right.
On YouTube.
All right.
Let's try.
Yeah, let's do it, y'all.
Y'all ladies look very professional too. Both of y'all look very professional.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Thank you.
All right.
That's why
Here we go. Here we go. Love y'all too.
Love y'all. All right, guys.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
iHeartRadio.
Hey. Come on, let's get the heart going.
How you do that heart thing with did you see the heart shooter? Yo, how did that happen? No. Some heart shot out your hand. No, hold on. Let's talk. Let's be serious. Rosa. No, some heart shot out your hand. How did that work?
Hey. I'm trying to. I don't know what happened.
Right.
You think Rebel did that? No, Rebel did that.
I promise you I did.
Yeah, right.
I promise you, my hands are God, man.
No, but how did this heart shoot out of her hand? That was good animation. How do we get that? I don't want hearts.
That was Rosa Fox, man. I don't know.
Wow, that was perfect timing. I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah. I don't even know how to do that.
Wow. Okay. I thought that was
fascinating.
Look at Tasha. She's like, yeah, right.
I gotta go. No, I gotta go. I gotta get into rehearsals. I'll see y'all. Love y'all.
Oh.
Bye.
All right.